We're calling this case mooching off Mama June. That's right, reality star Mama June is here, and she's seeking justice. Mama June says her former friend, Adam Barta, exploited her fame as well as their friendship. Let's go live to Judge Urbano DeSalvo.
Because she claims he is a mooching ex-friend who owes her for all the work she provided to him on a new show he is producing. So, Miss June, please tell me why you have brought this lawsuit against Mr. Barta.
I'm here today because I am suing him for $5,000 because, for one, a small percentage of my regular episodic fee that I would normally charge. Also because he said, he would claim he was going to give me an EP credit. I want full EP credit. But, he's been using my likeness and my name for his financial gain.
Mr.
Look, he sends this, and do you see who is bigger on this page? Not him, the show person, me. So, honestly, back in February, it got really bad. I used to be doing, YouTube stuff with him, everything.
Yes,
it's all over his YouTube stuff. So, he decided to take his YouTube stuff off of it and try to sell it to a network.
Right.
He is texting me saying, hey, can you do wild lines? Hey, can you look at this? Hey,
so
how do we do quality control?
Miss June, I have reviewed the pleadings. Just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So this started to break down around February when he started to ask you to help him out a lot, correct?
Yes.
Did he ever give you a contract to execute?
No.
Okay. And did you ever have any discussions with Mr. Barta about how much you would be compensated for all this help?
At first, he was like, oh, well, I'll give you $500. But that was just to help him out, get it off of the foundation. But it didn't include the EP credit. It didn't include me being part of the show because I was in several episodes. And sitting there and giving him advice how to do quality control. Also, I found out that he was paying other stars from other shows $5,000, $9,000. But me, I'm as his friend
Not true.
to be able to say, hey, I'm just going to use her name because I've been on reality TV for 11 years.
Miss June, just one quick aside. I don't think a lot of people know what EP means. Could you explain what the EP credit you were promised by Mr. Barta means?
It is an executive producer credit that you help edit the show, make sure it runs right, because when he first showed me the show, it was covered with music everywhere. And I told him, he was editing little parts at times, look, you got to go back and watch it, you got to do this.
Okay.
So literally hours at his house, his own, what I called Video Village, he was sitting in front of a computer.
Just one quick question.
Why was she there?
Now to Mr. Barta. Mr. Barta.
Yes.
You claim that you gave her a contract, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she ever sign it?
No, I had texted this contract to her, and despite that, she did not sign it, and she never acknowledged it at all.
And when did you send this contract?
This contract was sent back in, I want to say, March of this year, and I have the text for that as well.
Okay, so after March, when you sent this contract, was Miss June still assisting you with the production of your show?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked me that, and I'm so glad she said that, because as of March 30th, I have text messages here, which is also her evidence, actually. So we both have the same evidence, and it shows on March 30th.
Okay, one second.
Yes.
I have a bailiff here for a reason. I'll get to it.
Okay.
Pat, could you please show me and explain to me and for the audience what the texts say?
Well, it appears to be a snapshot of Adam's back and forth texts. It says,
well, he's asking me for wild lines.
Can you give me a wild line?
Which is, by the way, I'm so sorry to interrupt for the audience.
No, we know what a wild line is. You want a real
yes,
good intro on the show.
You got it.
Editing
Let's
the final episode so it's ready to go when it's time. Yeah, I'll give it to you in an hour or so. I will
Because he
send
would
it to
call
you.
me.
Thank
Okay,
you
well,
so-
let's just finish the text,
Awesome
okay?
TYEP.
Thank you, EP. And that stands for Thank You, EP, meaning I was giving her the executive producer credit, and also that shows that she was doing the wild lines on March 30th, meaning she was encouraging me to continue with this project.
Mr. Barta, I have a question.
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the status of this show?
It is currently coming to all major streaming networks on August 30th. So this is going to be
actually,
released.
before court today,
But
he
let me-
actually put it up for pre-sale.
Let me
because,
ask you a question. This
again,
is a really important question. I know you've had a lot of TV contracts.
Yeah.
So my question is to you, before you did all this work, why didn't you insist, or why didn't you draft a contract to give to Mr.
Because
Barda?
in between that time, I was in
know the
between
answer.
management because I left my old management. I was doing stuff on my own. And at first, I didn't think that he was going to constantly just ask and ask and ask and ask. Because he would send me like codes that only me and him and certain people with the code could get into the editing to make sure it looked right.
According to you, you didn't think he was going to beat you out of any money when you were given all this gratuitous advice. Is that correct?
Correct. And because I had been on TV for 11 years, and he knows that. I mean, he definitely knows that. So, like, you know, I don't know everything because above my pay grade with quality control, but I mean, I know how a show is supposed to be looking. I mean, I've been doing reality TV for 11 years.
All
and
right,
he
so
knows
she
that.
got famous 11 years ago. Were you friends with her 11 years ago?
No.
Okay, so is it an accurate statement that it was her celebrity status that drew you to her like a moth to a flame?
Well, we were paired originally.
I
We took
didn't
a
ask you
partner
that.
together.
Isn't it her celebrity status that drew you to her?
No, it was a manager that put us together on a project.
Because she's a
Excellent.
celebrity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right, so, Miss June, at what point did you tell Mr. Barda, I'm not doing this for free anymore. You better start paying me?
Several times, but then I started just ignoring him because I did feel like it was always asking a question, having to make sure it looks right, having to make sure this looked right, that right. And I mean, I have a life myself. I have a TV show myself, so I can't produce his show for free when I'm getting paid on my own show.
How many months did you assist him in working on this new show?
From February to current.
Were you still doing this last week with him?
No. I mean, I wouldn't say, but he still sends me messages asking me questions. I know that he put a pre-sale up this morning for him coming to court.
Okay, but several months, correct?
Yes.
All right, so this is a deal. This is my verdict. Rendered with wisdom and compassion. Even though there's no contract here, there's a doctrine in law called quantum merit recovery. And that's a doctrine that says a party can recover losses in the absence of an agreement or a binding contract, so the other party is not unjustly enriched. Given the fact you benefited from Miss June's expertise, experience, and kindness in assisting you with your new production, I render judgment in favor of plaintiff Miss June in the amount of $5,000.
And you're getting
if
away
your
cheap.
show is ever aired, she must be listed as an executive producer.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I think that's fair. That's the
That's
contract
fair.
that I
He's
gave her.
getting a damn good
That was the
deal.
contract. I mean, the $5,000. I have no money, but I think it's fair that she gets the credit, and I just want
And
my
the
friend
money.
back. And the money. I
Thank
just want
you.
my friend back. That's all I want. I want my friend to go back.
Well,
to
you know,
set.
that's something for you to decide whether or not she wants to be friends with you after putting her through this, where she had to come to court to get the recognition and compensation she so well deserves.
Well, she deserves it, but this was a project close to my heart, and she was a good friend, and I feel like she's kind of leaning into this in a way that was never established before in our friendship. So
You
it's kind
don't
of,
get time is money.
I totally
Right?
agree
Time
with that.
is money.
I agree with that.
$5,000.
get
The judge, a Mama June fan, it appears, a Honey Boo Boo fan as well. Your thoughts, Judge Mathis?
Well, this other person she mentioned, as you hear me say other person because I don't remember the name, that is just as famous as Mama June, that is really discredited.
Brown.
Okay, you know Tammy Brown?
I don't know.
Well,
but
then.
they said that.
Well, my point is that market value that he made the comparison to is nowhere near the type of celebrity status and market value that Mama June has. It's more than $5,000 to attach her name. She needs to fire all her people, however,
Mama June about to speak in court. Let's go in live and take a listen.
to work with no contract.
My reaction is a very good reaction. He's actually getting a very, very good deal because normally it would be $25,000 plus. So $5,000 he's getting off cheap, and I really hope that his show succeeds. But I know it may or may not, and I hope that he's okay with that, losing all of the money that he has put aside for this project.